Alright, how we doing, folks? Your boy Marcos1205. The numbers are after the name. This is Tie Tuesday. This is supposedly when games come down to limit to the wall, to the wire. This is not the case today. Today we're doing something a little bit different on Tie Tuesday, and we're just gonna point out one of the things I kind of complained about last week that I don't really understand how the hell this got like approved in like Modern Warfare. So two things here about this map. Number one, it's way too big. I mean, it's like crazy big. Like it's just stupid big. I mean, look at it right here, just from up top. It is wild big. Like I don't. It doesn't speak to me. I don't think it speaks to the common Call of Duty player. Honestly, I don't really know what Call of Duty player would entertain this, but okay. Secondly, and the worst part, and what I'm going to show you here is the map is huge. Yeah, you could still spawn trap a team on like one side. The only like real explanation I have for this is that they knew the map was big and they wanted to make sure that people were getting into fights, right? They wanted to make sure that you weren't like taking 30 days to get into a fight, which is cool. Like, yes, we don't want as Call of Duty players a 30-minute walk to get into a fight, but we also don't want what you're seeing here, which is I take 3 steps and I go and I just get popped, and it gets worse. Like, you'll notice like they just keep backing us further into our spawn. Eventually, people start to leave, too, which is crazy. Listen, when I was playing, like, I remember you'd play, like, Black Ops 1, for example, and sometimes cats would be, like, you'd be at smack maybe on fire range, you'd be down, like, 40 to, like, 10, and people would, like, leave. Alright, that's fine. But, like, months into the game or something like that. This is literally the first, this is Friday, like, night, like the night the game came out. And people are already quitting and leaving the map. Like, people are just like, nah. And it's crazy, too. Now, people like to complain on, like, the internet and whatnot, so take it for what it is. But I heard a ton of people that when, like, this map would come up, they'd be like, oh, nah, I ain't playing that. We out. And same for, like, pretty much any of the big maps. They were just like, nah, we good. We out. Yeah, we don't want to play that. Now, this was also pre-filter, right? This was pre, like, the 10v10, 6v6 filter. So I guess, in theory, you could just 6v6 it and never have to play these maps, but also you only have, like, 5 maps to play or something like that, so I don't know. I'm still, like, torn by it. I still, like, kind of rotate in and out when I have the filter or not, because sometimes it's like, well, I'd like to see other maps, right? Like, I don't know. And sometimes I'm like, well, maybe I'll just, like, rotate, like, you know, from Dom to TDM. I don't know. Still figuring out how the hell to do the proper filters for what exactly I want. Anyway, I know, don't even get started. This side that I'm at that I was just looking at, it is literally a straightaway for hours. For like hours, it's just a straightaway. Like, it's wild, though. So as you'll notice, we're slowly starting to get pinned further and further down. Eventually, this little part right here, I'm just stuck here until one of the guys like steps up and walks in here. I cannot begin to explain how in 2019, anybody designed this map and designed this spawn logic and said, yeah, that's good. It's kind of what we're going for. Like, what the hell were they thinking? Like, what? And I was trying to think, like, the only thing I can really remember of, like, so bad spawns in Call of Duty are, like, demo spawns in Black Ops 1, where you just keep spawning in the same exact spot and you literally just get popped while you spawn them. But that's like a specific mode with, like, a specific objective. Like, TDM-wise, I cannot remember the last time I faced such, like, dumb spawns. I mean, it has been, like World War II and some maps didn't have the best spawns, but they weren't, like, this outrageous. I don't know. I mean, Black Ops 4 spawns I felt were pretty solid. I don't know. It's a little weird that, like, this even got approved, that this was, like, cool. But you'll slowly get to know as I get pushed further and further back. Talk a little bit about this map, too. I'd honestly, if the map was just, like, the middle building, I'd say it's okay. I mean, that's not, like, the best, but it's alright. Having all this extra peripheral garbage around the map just makes it even worse. Not, like, better in any way. It's just a bunch of, like, houses where, like, people just kind of hide in corners and, like, clap you. Like, that's pretty much, like, what, like, the map is. Like, and you'll notice, I get like, one guy, but I can't get the second guy. And eventually, you'll also see there's, like, 3 or 4 of us left, like, at the game. Everybody just bounces. So, there we go. We have, like, 3 right now against, like, a whole team. And you're like, alright, well, this is Friday night. Like, this is, like, week 1. Like, people already, like, just dropping out. That to me is like a clear testament that people do not like this map. People do not like the spawn logic of this map. I was crazed when it was spawning right here, right now. I was like, what? Like, further back? Like, how much further does this map go? Like, what the hell? So now I'm just basically walking into this hallway where I die. I don't really have that many options. I got dudes there. I got dudes on the other side. Like, I don't know how in 2019 it's got approved. And if this were like the only map it happened, you'd be like, all right, well, whatever. But it literally happens in every map. In every map, you can just pin the other team back in their own spawn. And two things happen. One is, I mean, you don't have as much fun, right? Like, that's just factual. Like, you don't have enough as much fun on both sides. So when you're the person being spawn trapped, you're not having that much fun. And I mean, the guy literally had to walk into the hallway for me to flip it. I mean, this video is about 10 minutes long. 5.5 of it was spent like pretty much being there. I mean, 5.5 is a little bit exact, but 4.5 minutes would just be pinned in my own spawn. Like, that's just, come on, man. Like, what are we doing? So anyway, you can do it on any map. Like Piccadilly for me is like a good example. Piccadilly is a pretty, I don't know, some people don't like it. I like it. I think it's a fine map. But you could pin people down so easily, and like in their spawn, it's like out of control. And then people don't like it for two reasons. One, if you're the big person being spawned back, you don't like it because you're pinned down. Like, you have like limited options. You have like 3 or 4 outs, and in theory, people are watching each one of those outs. Like, you really don't like have a chance to even like do anything on any of those outs. And two, if you're the person doing the spawn pinning down, I mean, I guess if you're like on a heater or something to get like a good streak, maybe you'd be like into it. But like if you're just regular Joe who has like you know, who's just like trying to find the enemy, and the enemy just happens to be back there, and you're like, oh, what the hell are they doing back there? Like, you're also limited in like the amounts of engagements you can get over there, and you're just not having that much fun. You're kind of just like posted up against something, trying to like kill them. Like, that's pretty much like what you're doing, like that, and you're doing that over and over and over again. So when I pin like people down in Piccadilly, it's just not like as entertaining. When Piccadilly is kind of like a free-flowing thing, when both teams are a little more even, and none of us pin each other down, it's a lot more entertaining, I can tell you that. And I don't understand, though, how the spawn logic doesn't flip that for you. Like, I've already kind of broken out of the habit for this game's purposes, but normally when you get like kind of close to spawn, you'd already had the feel of like, there might be like 1, maybe 2 person left there, but they probably flip the other 4 that we just killed to the other side. So you start already moving back to like the other side and trying to like play that side and stuff like that. And that's part of the Call of Duty experience. Like, that's part of the fun of Call of Duty. That don't happen in this game. This game is just like, whatever. You're just pinning your spawn. There's the whole game. And the Gunrunner, right? The other small map. You get pinned in your spawn so easy in that one, too. It's crazy. Like, you just keep spawning further and further and further back your spawn with dudes just, like, looking right at you. You're like, yo, like, what? What happened? Like, so spawn logic-wise, on the small maps, it's extremely inexcusable because what? Like, there's not any space. But even on these big maps, like, what was the point of those first 4.5 minutes of this game? Like, what happened? Like, who approved this? Who the hell said, like, yeah, man, that's exactly what we need, man. Let's make this huge map. Which, like I said, this middle building in itself could be a Call of Duty map. With a little bit like at the beginning, a little bit at the end, and everybody just fights inside. I wouldn't necessarily like it, because it's not like Kill Your Fight, whatever. I wouldn't be, like, the biggest fan of it. But it would be a better map than all the other stuff about it. My face, I wish I was like live streaming or something, man, when it happened. My face, when I saw a little ATV like run by me and like this, and I had heard that there was like vehicle and multiplayer, but I thought it was pretty much just in ground war. Like, I didn't think it was actually for like regular maps. When I saw like a guy driving an ATV like right next to me, I was like, yeah, nah, fam, like that's not what it is, man. It's not what it is. You know, we had tanks in like World at War. Because it was kind of like fun, right? Like, it was kind of just like, you know, Battlefield's kind of doing, it's World War II, whatever, let's do it, da-da-da. And that's it. We never put a vehicle back in a multiplayer map. Why? Because we don't want them. That's pretty much it. Like, that's pretty much the reason. I haven't used the car, but I get it. Like, the map's so huge that they're like, hey, why don't you drive to the other side and see if you can run into somebody? I don't know. I've heard that like through like developers that the 3-lane map structure was not something that they were going for. They said the community was kind of tired of that. I don't know what community was tired of that. I don't know what community was like, yeah, man, we like just 3-lane, like kind of arcadey, quick, fast-paced maps. Like, I don't know what community it is. 'Cause I think if you just look at the rotation of maps, I mean, if you look at what like Black Ops 4 is, like the high rotation map, like they brought back all the like 3-lane maps, like, right? Those are all the retro maps that they brought back because those things are like tight and whatnot. So this is just a little show of me getting clapped over here, but it happens way too often, the pinning down and the spawn on small maps And even on big maps where there's plenty of space to flip. I don't get it.